Nev,
Good morning. How are you,
good
brother?
morning. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too, man. What's going on?
Uh, what's going on today? I rehearsed vocals for a new album. Did some voiceover narration for a radio campaign to help homeless kids,
Yeah, wow.
and then rehearsed for the live shows coming up in Australia. Uh, and then I had some waffles.
Hey, that's a busy day. And you ate
Yeah.
waffle. So that's what time is it there? It's yesterday, right? And
Oh, don't do this to me. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock.
there you go. There you
Three
go.
o'clock. So you're in the future. What happens? I'm dying to
Uh,
know.
okay. So have you got a pen? I'll give you the lotto numbers. Uh, it's all disaster. No, but hey, man, I appreciate you hanging out on the show. It's cool to see you.
Right on. Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, man. You're coming back to Australia for Supanova in Adelaide and Brisbane next month. And
Yeah,
this isn't your first rodeo, man. We love seeing you down here.
it's great. I have a great time every time I come. Uh, I really, I don't really want to leave most of the time. Uh, um, I always find Australia to just be full of really, really good people. Both when I talk with people at the cons, definitely, and when I just am walking around Australia, just meeting people, it's always really good interactions.
Do you get to do that? Do you get to just go out and explore between, because you got the weekends, the cons are on the weekends, and then you got some time here. Do you just
Yeah,
go out and just run amok?
yeah, yeah. Just go check stuff out, man. Uh, Walk around. Yeah, I can't stay in the hotel room all day.
No, no, that would drive me nuts. But do you ever go see bands and stuff? Do you ever go see the local?
No, and I should.
Hmm.
Uh, Definitely. That is something that I have not availed myself of. That's a really good. I need to. I know that Australian music is really good. There are certain countries when I play, uh, I have to rehearse a little extra because like Wales is another place that really has great music everywhere, and Australia is another place that you just know the people know the difference between good music and mediocre music, or music that's well rehearsed and music that's not so well rehearsed. And so I always try to be on my game when I come to Oz.
Well, we have both. But
Yes,
that's
but
like
you know the
anyone.
difference.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So you're playing some shows here as well, right? Like on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
Doing I think it's Friday nights, if I'm not mistaken, the first day of the con. And you could probably still get tickets, although I would probably, if you want to come, I would get your tickets sooner rather than later. They do tend to sell out.
Do you ever just do random pop-up shows? Do you ever just grab your guitar and just rock up at a venue and just go, "Hey, my name's James. Can I just play a few tunes?"
Uh, I tried that in Hawaii. I was shooting Hawaii Five O, and they had me at the Hilton Resort, and at the Hilton Resort they have, I didn't know this at the time, but they had the best Hawaiian musicians from all over the islands coming and playing at the resort. But they'd just be on this little stage and just playing, and I remember asking the guy, "Hey, do you want to take a break? I'll take your guitar and give you a break. I can play pretty well." And he's like, "No, no, thank you." He was very polite about it. And then my friend afterwards just goes, "Do you know who that was?" And he told me who it was, and I was like, "Oh God." It was a very, very famous Hawaiian musician. We busked, the band busked in Paris. We had a week between shows, and I remember busking across the river from Notre Dame. Um, didn't make much money. But I remember all the rock bands were really excited in Paris to listen to us. I remember they were crowding around our rehearsal studio because they wanted to hear like American rock. Um, yeah, I guess that's what comes to mind.
Goes to the Robot for those, you know. out there in internet land. Great
Yeah.
band, man. You guys are so
Thank you, man.
good. Yeah, I really dig it.
Yeah, I think it's a good band because I'm not in control of it. Uh, I I'm a perfectly well-behaved lead singer. You know what I mean? I, I I get ready. I'm always on time.
Yep.
I'm ready to go, and I don't try to exert more control than a lead singer who's just a lead singer should have. I do write a lot of the songs, which are really kind of simple little ditties when I write them, and then the band gets a hold of them and turns them into something more.
Do you have a studio at your house, like where you
I
just write all your stuff, or do you have a space?
Yeah, I have a music room. I don't think it's really a studio. I mean, I've got some good mics. And then a friend of mine just dumped off a bunch of audio tiles because his somebody he knew dumped them on him. And I have yet to put them up on the wall. So I don't know that I would record in there. Like we have recorded vocals for the last album in there, but we rather had like two mattresses, where I think it was like three mattresses to kind of
Yep.
like make a little booth that was a little better for sound. But generally, it's just a music room where we can go and make music for fun.
I'm about to really annoy my wife by building a vocal booth in the garage.
Yeah,
So that's the dream, man. I just want to go in there and scream my ass off for a few hours and not do
right.
it here where it annoys everybody else and the cops call. And, you know.
These days, if you have a good mic, a laptop, and a
Yep.
few mattresses, you can record good sound, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But man, you come down here for the cons. You go do cons everywhere around the world. Why is Australia the best for cons?
It's not.
Ah, you meant to lie.
I will say this, my brother.
Okay.
Um, I find conventions to be very similar, although countries are very different.
Yeah.
I find that the atmosphere at conventions is always heaven. Everybody's beautiful, everybody's safe, and you can be whatever you want to be. Um, I find that fans are smart and funny and don't take themselves too seriously and are therefore some of my favorite people to hang around. Um, it's a place where people are supportive. It's okay to be different. It's okay not to be different. If you just want to show up with jeans and a t-shirt, all good. If you want to deck yourself out as a Jedi, go for it. All is well. There's never any judgment. Um, and it's like Mardi Gras, you know? People just walking, just like my favorite was like this 80-year-old woman dressed as Wonder Woman in a wheelchair, just rocking it, just owning it. Like, I'm Wonder Woman, bitch, deal with it, you know? Just fabulous. Yeah, so I even there are times where I go to places where I'm afraid I don't really fit in with that culture, especially in the States. We're a little divided these days, and there's places sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be hanging out in these bars tonight." And then I go to the convention, and it's just the same as everywhere. Like all the coolest people have come to the convention. Um, yeah, so if you want to have fun, if you want to hang out with people, and there's fewer excuses to do that these days. Uh, it's harder to come into community, like to be around people in 3D
Mm.
and just hang out, we have sports allow us to do that. We can go see a movie, but we're not talking to each other. We can see a play, but again, we're not talking to each other. So conventions, I think, are providing a more and more important place for people to come out and hang out with each other and get to know each other.
I love it. I'm all about it. See, for me, I don't know how it was for you growing up, but uh, music and pop culture go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So especially because the metal side of things, we are the nerdiest people around, you know. But have you found that a lot of people, music and the pop culture go hand in hand for you?
I had never really thought of it, but yeah, like Ghost of the Robot, right?
Mm.
So that name came along. Me and a guy named Charlie DeMars started the band together, and we were we're kicking around different images trying to come up with a title for the band, and I was talking about the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz because I was just kind of new to fame, and I did not want to get hollowed out by it. I didn't want to lose my heart. I didn't want to get, make money and get success, but then kind of become a douchebag. And to this day is my primal fear, that I'll be one of those guys who thinks he's being funny and he's telling jokes that are not that funny, but he thinks that they are, or he's telling a story. It's not very interesting, but he's convinced he's fascinating. I don't know if you've talked to these people, but they're surrounded by people who tell them that they're funny when they're not, basically. So I was talking about Tin Man, and then Charlie was like, "Oh, that's great because I'm all into R2D2 because I feel he was 18 years old at this time. I feel like R2D2, who's just kind of like on Tatooine, trying to get from A to B, and like his wheels aren't really working in the sand very well. It's hard for him to get around. And then like a woman, which is kind of like these days like a pterodactyl, swoops down and picks me up and takes me all the way up above the clouds, and it's all amazing and wonderful. And then they drop me, and I crash back onto the sand, and I have to kind of pick myself up and dust myself up and try to get from A to B again. And that's so we kind of like gravitated toward Robot. And Ghost of the Robot is kind of the part of me that I don't want to lose. And I'll become a Tin Man if I lose it. And then for Charlie, it was the robot of feeling like a helpless droid. So there's that, and like I was playing in bars when I was 13 years old. I started playing James Taylor. I would only do James Taylor. I don't know why it was just James Taylor, but it was. And I was also a big fanboy. I was going to conventions back in 75,
Yeah.
back when they were just starting, man. It was just Star Trek in the very beginning. And then these people, Space 1999, they tried to glom onto our conventions. And we were like, get out of here, man. Yeah. Martin Landau sucks. Get away. He was too serious. We liked William Shatner's acting much better than Martin Landau. We were young. We were young. But so I guess from in my life the two were hand in hand. I'm not sure if they've mixed. I guess they're just two things that have been important in my life, and a lot of musicians are fanboys. Not the more that I think about it, yeah,
100%,
yeah,
100%. But Spike was inspired by Billy Idol, right? Was
nope.
it? No.
Again, sorry.
Wrong. Okay.
Yeah, but what happened was I was told that they wanted the Sid Vicious of the Vampire set, and I was like, okay, guys, I'm a punk rocker from the 70s. You don't want Sid Vicious. They're like, no, we do. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you Sid Vicious so you know you're wrong. This is Sid Vicious. Girls like me because I've got a beautiful face and a lovely figure. I said, Sid was an idiot. He didn't play on the album. He ruined the tour. He broke the band up. He was a drug addict, and he messed the whole thing up. He was not a smart man. You want Johnny Rotten, if anybody.
Yes.
And they were like, well, whatever, just give us punk rock. I'm like, okay, cool. So go to the makeup trailer, and we had 3 days between the time I was cast and the time they were shooting the character. We had 3 days, so it was all real fast. And they spray painted my hair black because all the Sex Pistols had black hair, and it didn't look good. And at that point, the hairdresser was like, so sorry, there's only 2 colors for punk. It's either bone white or jet black. All the purple and all of that stuff is glam and all, so we're going to have to bleach you, bud. And we only have 2 days left, which means we're going to bleach you once tomorrow, or no, we're going to bleach you today, and then we're going to have to bleach you the next day, that's the one that's really going to hurt because your scalp is going to be blistering, and we're going to pour some more bleach on top of that, but there's nothing to do about it. So here we go. And then, of course, and then they bleached it, and then I looked great, and I was like, worth it, and it hurt. Oh my God, I was in the fetal position underneath the we did it at the at some guy's house, and I just remember being underneath his living room table, hiding from my girlfriend because I didn't want to see her. I didn't want her to see me cry. Um, but it was worth it. I looked awesome.
Yeah.
But I realized very quickly, oh, this has gone Billy Idol, and so the one thing that I cannot do while I play this character is sneer, you
Yes.
know,
Hey, I see.
like, and all the Sex Pistols sneered.
Yeah.
They all it was a punk thing. It was a
Yes.
definite expression, but it was so much of Billy Idol's brand that I was like, oh man, I got to lose that. Damn it.
Too
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Stop it. Yeah.
Hey, man. Did you ever meet him though? Did that ever cross paths with him and him
I
go,
would
yeah,
love
no,
to.
it's not you, man. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I would love to, man. He's still rocking.
yeah.
He's still selling out shows. He's still giving good shows. Yeah, he's awesome. That'd be
Man.
great.
Oh no, that'd be amazing. Hey, you lived in Seattle during the 90s, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Did you go to, I mean, right at that time, it was musical heaven, dude. Did you go to a lot of shows and stuff like that then? Did you
No, I couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear him on the sidewalk, but I was really poor at this point. Like there were times when my first wife and we would eat oatmeal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Mm.
and then we'd get sick of it and we'd switch over to cream of wheat, which is another breakfast kind of grain that's really, really cheap. And we'd eat that breakfast, lunch, and dinner, get sick of it, and switch back to oatmeal. Like one year, we made $7,000 the whole year between the two of us. It was grim. And then, when I worked at theaters, I would get paid some money, but then we started a theater company, and so I put all the money into the theater company, and we were sleeping in the back of the theater because we couldn't afford to rent a space for theater and an apartment, so we just lived in the back of the theater. And I would cook huge pots of beans, and we would eat that breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So like there wasn't a lot of money for anything like getting into a club, but like just hanging out on the sidewalk was amazing. Yeah,
That's
I remember when Kurt died, actually. I remember went down, I was living on Queen Anne the day he died, and we all came down to the Seattle Center to be together.
wow.
And I remember Courtney getting up and saying, "Fuck you, Kurt." Sorry.
Oh,
Uh,
you could say naughty words on
okay, yeah. Fuck you, Kurt. She was really mad at him. He had committed suicide. She was really mad at him. She let it out. And I remember it all just kind of turned.
Mm.
Like this outpouring of love and sadness and being together just turned. And I remember thinking, uh-oh, I hope this doesn't get violent. And there were some certain skirmishes around town, but it didn't get too bad. Thank goodness. But yeah, there's a lot, tens of thousands of people just gathered en masse, and there's no planning for it. We just took it over.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's wild. But those sacrifices, man, you made earlier in the career, you must look back on that and where you are now and just appreciate everything. You've worked hard, man. You've just, that journey. It's that like hero's journey, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's sacrifice really, because I mean, I didn't have kids yet, so poverty wasn't that bad. I was really doing what I was loved. I was really happy. My life didn't suck, but there just wasn't enough food.
Oh, damn. Hey,
And I got to say, bicycling in the rain in Seattle is neither fun nor safe. It's all hills and it rains all the time. And you are basically, I remember just zooming down hills, just going, if someone comes in my way, I'm dead. There's nothing I can do. Yeah.
Lucky the brakes work. Now, my dog's going crazy. I don't know if you can hear this, but
No.
oh, really? That's amazing. Darcy, shut up. Labradoodles. Labradontal. More like it because she don't talk. She's meant to. But of course, what's next for you, man? Like you've got a big year ahead, more voice work, more Dragon.
Yeah. I'm still doing Zamasu for Dragon Ball Super. That never stops. I think the new video games, Dragon Ball Sparkle, which I don't know why they call it that, but okay. It's an awesome video game. And I did a lot of voiceover for that. There's a show on Amazon Prime called Casa Grande, which I'm really proud of. It's an update of Upstairs, Downstairs, which is a show, an old English show about an English manor and the rich people who live there and the servants who do everything for them. And both sides are human, and neither side understand each other, and there's a cultural wall between them. And they've updated it to Napa Valley, present day California, where all the rich people are the wine growers and the ranchers, and the servants are the Latinos that work the land. And just like the original, both sides are human and they don't understand each other, and there's a cultural gulf that they can't cross. I'm really proud of that. There's a show on Apple, that's on Amazon Prime. On Apple Plus, there's a really good kids show, is animated, that I'm doing called Curses, where I play Larry, a pirate skull, and we have a blast doing that. And it's kind of a reverse Indiana Jones, where instead of going to foreign lands and stealing all their most precious cultural treasures, it's a family whose grandfather did that. And now they're trying to give it back without getting caught doing it, And so there's that. Let's see. Waiting for the new Dresden book to drop. I've been doing about one a year for the last 20 years. He puts out about one a year. They're very popular in the States. They're on the New York Times bestseller list before I even record them. At one point, though, I think 13 of the top 15 audiobooks were all Dresden Files over here, top sellers. So they're very popular. And can't wait to get my hands on the next one. Yeah, and then the band, we're recording our 7th album. The last album did really well. We did another just dirty, quick rock album where you just get into the studio, set up a bunch of mics, and play together as a band, and just like crack out four takes and move on. And that's the way we did our first album, which I think was my favorite one. And then we had money, we had time, and we had Pro Tools, and we got kind of too slick for our own good, I think. I mean, the albums are still really good, but there's a lot of sparkle on them. And I wanted to get back to doing some more dirt. Right, exactly. So now, what are we doing? So now we're going back to sparkle. We're doing a pop album, but it's going to be less, I don't know. It's still really good. We'll see what happens. We're in the middle of it.
Are you going to, hey, is there a chance that the whole band's going to come down here at some point?
God.
Tour?
I got to say, touring has always been a problem for Ghost of the Robot. When we got together, 3 of us were in high school.
Yeah.
2 of us were 17, 1 was 18. And I told all the parents that we would never ask your kids to come out of school for the band. We'll work around the school schedule. And they're like, okay, now I'm more relaxed about it. By the time they got out of high school, 2 of them went on to college. And by the time those guys got out of college, we got another guy who was in high school. And he just got out of college. But now he was law school, and now he's a lawyer. So that's happening. And then the bassist, Kevin, is a father now of 2 young kids. And so like what we do is we go out and play like one show. Like last year we played Manhattan, Nashville, LA. We have plans to like pop out quickly, but long tours to faraway lands. Although, I mean, like, it's the same problem in Europe. When I go to Europe, everyone's like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? I just like, I'm a dad. I can't ask Kevin, like, take off a month away from your kids. His wife would kill him. Yeah.
Have to change your name. I know about, I do the touring thing, and it can be tricky, but
right.
Man,
Exactly.
good times, man. It's good times in the van with
Well, but you live in a huge country. There's places to play in Australia. You know what I mean? You don't have to go to Nambia. You know,
No.
you could get. You know what I mean? Like if you lived in like the Netherlands, there'd only be so many places to play. You know,
Yes.
but we're both lucky. We live in a big country. So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's good times. But hey, man, Thanks for hanging out on the show. It's been really cool hanging.
Yeah, my pleasure, Nev. Really good questions, man. Good to talk with you.
Yeah. Well, I'll be seeing you in Brisbane, of course. That's going to be a good time.
Okay, guys. Are you going to cosplay?
No, I go as 40
Metal
metal
musician.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
yeah. So
I'll look for the cool. Yeah, I'll look for the cool guy metal head.
Drop the cool, just the metal head. And,
Okay.
and you go.
All metal heads are cool in my book, so okay.
All right, dude. Have a good day, huh?
You too, brother. Bye-bye.
Yeah,